Greetings, all you management scholars out there. Welcome to our class. I'm Dr. T, and I want to welcome you to Management 3661 Fundamentals of Management for summer semester 2026. So, I put a little added emphasis on this word our. I truly believe that this will be our class. Now, I know it's going to be remote. I know it's online. I know we're not going to meet physically together in class to exchange ideas at the same time. But listen, it's still our class. So the learning will be multi-directional, right? Ideally, it's going to be multi-directional. You will learn some from me. I'm going to learn a lot from you. And hopefully you can learn a little bit from each other along the way. Management is such an important function across all businesses. So in this class, we're going to take a look at how organizations plan, how they organize, how they lead, and how they control things. That's the management process. We're going to take a close look at some of the important functions of the management process. We'll take a look at some of the art of management. We'll take a look at some of the science of management. This is one of my favorite classes because a lot of it has to do with how we interact, how we communicate, how we lead. Some very, very important functions for you all to know about. What I love about management is that it is what we call a soft skill. So the things you see down here can be what we call a hard skill. We see a group of scientists here, and maybe they're doing some very important studies here. They're in a research lab. But guess what? Even though their primary education was about chemistry or physics or biology or whatever it might be, when people come together, they need management. Management is the lifeblood of all organizations. Look, we have a dance troupe here. These are probably some of the best dancers in the world, but when they form a group, they need management. They need somebody to guide the process, to lead the process, to manage the process. And of course, I had to put in one of my favorite all-time fictional managers, my guy Michael Scott down here. So I'll share a lot of funny links and videos featuring The Office and a few other clips along the way. So the way we're going to do this here, I'll tell you a little bit about me. I want to hear a little bit about you. Of course, that will be done in the discussion board on D2L. I'll share a little bit about the course. There's a couple resources out there that I think you might find interesting that we're going to integrate into our class this semester. And then if you have any questions, I'm going to let you know how to get in touch with me. So a little bit about me. Yes, believe it or not, my last name is pronounced Theriault. It's Darren Theriault. It's a lot of silent letters going on there. It's a French last name, and for whatever reason, the French people love their silent letters, but I typically just go by Dr. T. That's fine. I grew up in a city north of Boston in New England, Nashua, New Hampshire, and so maybe you hear a little bit of my accent, but I think the edge has taken off my accent a lot because I've lived all around the world. I've lived all across the U.S. I served in the Army for 23 years. I'm a retired Army officer. Back to some of the things that I'm doing here in terms of my teaching. I teach a whole bunch of different classes, management classes. It's my favorite thing to teach. The research I do, it involves leadership. I think leadership is the most important thing in organizations. I do research that hopefully will reduce workplace aggression. I don't think anybody should ever have to go to work with the pit in their stomach because it's a toxic work environment. I'm passionate about diversity, and of course, being a veteran, I want to do everything I can to understand veterans' needs more, and so I can do a better job supporting and encouraging veterans. Like I said, I'm a retired Army officer. I served for 23 years. I was mostly in armor units on the big tanks. But when I retired from the Army, before I retired, my last assignment was at an HBCU, historically black college and university in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Southern University. It's an amazing place. HBCUs are amazing places to learn and to grow and to develop. And so I knew when I retired, it would be a very good fit for me to continue my career in higher education. And so here I am. Now I get to be a professor and learn with you and grow with you and hopefully mold you and shape you a little bit so that you all can reach your absolute maximum potential in life. I've earned a few degrees along the way. But more importantly, I love family. I love strong relationships. It's the foundation of my life. As I said earlier, I'm passionate about creating healthier workplaces, healthier organizations. To me, there's nothing worse than a toxic work environment where even though you might actually enjoy the job that you do, if it's toxic leadership or abusive supervision, that takes all the fun out of it. So I do whatever I can to help reduce that. I'm passionate about coaching and teaching the next generation of leaders. That's you. That is you, believe it or not. And outside of all that, I do have a lot of hobbies. I like to play and watch sports. I grew up as an athlete. I played college sports. I love to learn about different cultures, all the places where I've been deployed. I did my best to learn the language, to embrace the culture. And currently I'm learning Spanish. And I'm also learning the guitar. And I like to bird watch, mostly hummingbirds. All right, that's a lot about me. But here's what I want to hear about you. Where you're from, what's your major, your hobbies and interests. If you've traveled anywhere, I'd like to hear about some of the places where you've been. And that can be across the U.S. It could be international travel as well. And then, very importantly, what are your goals? What do you want to get out of this class? What are your future career goals? I'd love to hear about that. When it comes to the textbook, we're going to use this one right here, Kanicki et al., the 2025 release. You got to make sure you read the materials, keep up with the Connect assignments. I'm going to post a spotlight video on D2L to cover each of our chapters. I typically will remake them every semester, every time I teach it, to incorporate something current that's happening that relates to what we're learning in class. If you have any problems at all accessing the textbook, getting into Connect, please let me know immediately so I can help. Here are the major assignments. Now this course is a little bit compressed compared to how I've taught it for the full semesters, fall and spring. So we're condensing things a little bit. There's 3 exams instead of typically 4. I do 4. There's no comprehensive final. Each exam will cover different chapters. There's going to be a bunch of these Connect assignments. You've got to make sure to keep up with them. And then the 3 management reflections that cover content that lines up with what we're learning and that lines up with the separate 3 exams, one per kind of a module, if you will. And then the overall assignment, the major assignment, if you will, in the class is this management and media presentation that you're going to put together. All right, I'll just mention this Morning Brew. If you don't already have this, I encourage you to subscribe to it. It's free, completely free, and it's probably the most unique way to absorb and to learn about business news every day. And I read it every single day. It takes about maybe 10 minutes to read, but it captures the major business ideas, the business updates, the business news every 24 hours. It's very quirky and unique, so I encourage you to subscribe to Morning Brew. Okay, listen, I know this won't be perfect because I'm an imperfect person, but I promise you this, I will give you my best. So because it's not going to be perfect, if you see something that doesn't make sense, if you see anything that's unclear, if you read the syllabus and you're like, oh man, this is from last semester, maybe I missed something, please let me know so I can fix it and so I can communicate clearly to everybody so there's no confusion. I want to clarify things. The point of this class isn't for you to try to figure things out about the flow of the course. It's to learn the material, okay? So reach out to me via my UNG email address. Also, I leave my personal cell number here. I just ask that don't call me randomly. If you do text and you just want to text, that's fine. But just let me know who you are so I know it's not some kind of a spam call or some kind of a spam text message. Just let me know. Give me your name and the class and the section. All right, and that's it. If there's any questions along the way, listen, be sure to read the syllabus. The syllabus will answer some questions. But, of course, you're going to have other questions, so please reach out to me. Listen, I'm looking forward to learning with you, growing with you, developing with you this semester, and let's get after it. Go Nighthawks.